whack it on YouTube. Right, the legislation section. It's not worth a lot of marks, 4 marks. Alright? But it's 4 marks that are, if you just do it, they're reasonably easy to obtain. Okay? Assuming you do it to the right level. There's 3 things that we need to do. The first one is critical. If you don't do this, you can't get any marks. So if you do all the other stuff and the first bit wasn't done, you can't get any marks for this section. So you need to go through, and in the portfolio guide there are some specific pieces of the legislation that you need to find out about. Okay? For each one, I don't want to like an in-depth study of them. I just want to know, you know, what reasons was it brought in for? Okay? Now you'll find that some of them overlap and some of them are designed to bring all the other legislation together. But you just need a short paragraph explaining what is the point of this legislation. Okay? So that's quite a nice, easy, simple task to do. Obviously, search for the correct legislation. It's not American legislation. All of it is UK, some of it's EU legislation. Okay? Once you've done that and you've identified what this legislation is used for, you need to go through the 3 clients and you need to say, right, okay, which of those bits of legislation are useful to those clients so that they can get equal opportunities. Alright, now, we've got 3 different clients, but 2 of them work. Okay? So, you might find that you're going to repeat yourself when you talk about aspects of this to do with things like obligations of employers. So what you might want to do is be careful how you structure it so that you don't just repeat yourself for Jane and then say it all again for Hari. Okay, there'll be different aspects for each one of them, but it's important that you make it readable. When you come to Toma, remember, we haven't talked about employment or anything, he's just at home. Okay, we don't know what he does, he might have a job, he might not have a job, we don't really care. So when you talk about him, he's got a peculiar aspect. He's looking for legislation that forces people to produce their content so that it's accessible. Okay, so you need to tie up which bit of legislation was brought in that contains something about that. So make sure you've found that information out when you do the first bit. Okay, so the first 2 bits are really closely tied to what we're doing. The last bit, it doesn't have to relate to any of our clients at all. All I want you to do is to find some articles, stories. So you need to go on like newspaper websites. So go around the Times, the Guardian, Independent, BBC website, and find disability legislation articles, cases that have happened. Alright? And you just need to briefly outline the case and then just say your opinion. Was this a good use of the legislation? Is this sort of not in the spirit of what the legislation was produced for? Okay, so I just need 3 or 4 articles on that. Now, Jamie found a website that had a load of different cases and things, didn't you? Which is posted on the Unit 20 page. If I just go on the Unit 20 page. Yeah, well, I will learn from that mistake of that falling down and put more blue tack on. Right. So on the Unit 20 page, under articles, which I haven't got on the monitor, oh, it's right at the top, legislation links on the right hand side. Okay, if anybody else finds any other useful stuff on this legislation stuff, can you post that in there? Okay, there's a little link that comes that says submit a link to legislation links, and you can put that on. Okay, so it's just three simple sections. I don't want you to kill yourselves doing this. This is why I've asked you to do it at the end. Okay, it is only 4 marks. Remember, the big meaty sandwich of marks is that PC write-up, because that was 21 marks. You know, nearly half all the marks. So that is, you know, they have got to be super polished. So do this when you've done everything else. Don't do it first. Don't like say, oh, I'm going to do that next before I finish reading Toma. Don't. Okay? Anyone got any questions about that legislation? No? It's quite straightforward. The ones that you've got to cover are in the portfolio guide, and you must cover them. Don't make up any other ones, like your own legislation that you're going to bring in when you become an MP or something, because that ain't going to work. Right, I'll stick that on YouTube so you can